We used to say you black, then watch your mouth. We ain't listen, nah, not for the clout. Original man, all I'm watching is y'all. Crazy how addicted I used to be at the mall. Spending all this hard-earned dough, but never ball. In the game of life was more of a curtain call. Smiling in your face, can't tell I was hurt at all. My little Asian love would go and run me the raw. Brought it to the crib and let me borrow the car. Gotta be fly, you gon' catch the people eye. Can't recognize the real when you always taught a lie. Can't remember a day when my mama wasn't hurting, daddy wasn't brave, and my niggas wasn't cursing. We was just some slaves and amazed with our burdens, trying to find our way through this pain we immersed in. Raised by a gay shit, the sage wasn't working. Remember when they say we was 3/5 a person, but if we came first, how the fuck do that work? I notice people never like to tell the truth cause it hurt.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is the real Remy Rad. I'm sitting here again with the infamous Kevin. You know what I mean? We came back again this week, chat with you some stuff. I asked Kevin to sit in with me, but he's like, but Rem, I don't have any kids. I'm not a parent. The subject matter, why should I sit here? And in his time while he was sitting there, he asked a tangible question that sparked a conversation. So hopefully,
so I got stuck on this camera talking to y'all about y'all kids and what they're gonna be doing when they go to school. Because then he wants to be intelligent. He wants to be like, well, didn't you go to school in America?
Oh, you stupid.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So,
and that's why I bring that up, is because it's not just about our kids, but it's also about the fact that we have to understand how we were educated in this country and what that education has led to when you see the fruition of their ideas being subliminally and brainwashed into us repeatedly, and how even now when kids go to school, they take packets. It's not as much learning. I don't know if you remember going to a library. We had to go look through the library with the cards and read and certain research and look, and you had to have your 5 research references. You couldn't just say the internet. You had to talk to somebody, read it in the book, all of those. And then we grew up with the who, what, where, and why. We were raised to question everything. This generation is not. And why is that important, do you say to me, Remy? Because when we look at what's happening now, I remember school being a safe place for our kids and for ourselves. A lot of drama would get cut off at the door at school because nobody wanted to be suspended. We had movies like Lean On Me, principles that were evident in the community.
Man, you being nice.
What you mean by that?
You being nice, B. Lean On Me was a real depiction of what schools was like for real. Shaking dice in the bathroom, gambling outside in high school. When I was in the 10th grade, I didn't go to school none. I went to school every day. I went to homeroom, because homeroom, you could do whatever. Yo, check in. And then cut every class. And I was in double period biology, which I didn't work hard to get in double period biology. I guess my grades coming from junior high school to high school, they enrolled me in the program. Man, I was tired. You got to do this for 2 periods? Nah, I hung out on the first floor of my school. My school had 800 kids in the graduating class, each grade. That's a lot.
So let me ask you a question. How many kids died in school from you when you were in school?
A few.
By other students or by teachers?
Other students, a few. Some kids in my school, it's funny, it's funny that I said, all right, well, I gotta be here. I went to Kennedy High School in the Bronx. And a lot of that was sectioned off. The 5th floor, that belonged to the Dominicans, B. Word. You know what I'm saying? Like the 5th floor, we went to the 5th floor, the exit maybe, but the 1st floor, that's where the cool brothers was at. That's where the niggas was at. You know what I'm saying? Word. Everybody cool was on the 1st floor. If you was, this is a majority minority school, right? Yeah.
So,
but on the tip of Riverdale, which is a majority Caucasian neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Word. My moms ain't want me going to school in 143, which was in the majority minority neighborhood. She wanted me going to school in 141, where things were a little bit more settled down and didn't seem so wild. You know what I'm saying? Which that was the truth. And I went to school in 141 in Riverdale.
So you might be wondering, why am I letting Kevin tell y'all all that? Because no matter what, it proves my point. That first narrative I gave you was the narrative that we all have been taught. School is supposed to be this safe place for you. And whether he realized it, he did exactly what I wanted y'all to do. To say, nah, man, you bugging. You're not telling the right thing.
Supposed to be or is?
What?
School. Supposed to be?
Supposed to be.
Okay.
That's the narrative. You come on. You remember the after school specials? Come to school where it's safe. Talk to a teacher. They'll save you. We all
know what? Okay, I'm going to give you that. I'm not going to talk about what I did, but I did play myself in the 6th grade. Word to mother. I was in the 5th or the 6th grade, and the teacher caught me with the don't worry, just write a story about it. Next thing you know, my mom was in school. Yo, word to mama. Hey, yo.
But the point is that that's the reality I knew, which Kevin will tell you about. We saw it in movies for black and brown kids. But then I got gifted and I went to the white school and I saw the night and day of where they didn't do a lot of that. And you didn't have that.
Can you please tell me how you got gifted? I don't want to break your story, but I want you to tell me how you got gifted. Because other kids might get gifted like you.
Oh, writing. I used to write a lot of poetry and stuff. And I got the governor came to where my dad was living at the time and came and did a whole press release with me.
So you were like the first spoken word? For he, what then? I do not play. No. My voice will not be uncensored.
Again, why did I bring him here? Anyway, you stupid. Nah, it's not just about writing poetry, but I read a lot of poetry. Was able to, at that time, I was a smart kid to debate.
Now look what you do now. You're eloquent with what you do now.
So they let me go to the white school. And going to the white school, I saw the computer centers. I saw the film programs that we didn't have at the black school. I saw the safety these kids had. And it brings me to my whole statement of integration and segregation. I was talking with KC before because Kev said being immigrated, you're automatic. And I was like, yeah, you're integrated at the same points. And he was like, no, because segregation was different. And I said, in my perception, America brainwashes everybody, especially black people, when they come to this country with a story and a narrative that they force down everyone's throat. America's history, 99% of it is out of blood, it's out of riots, it's out of murdering. But they love to act holier than thou than any other country.
Yes.
They tell you that. So now they also sell us this narrative that black people were only slaves. We marched and didn't fight back. And that's what a good black person is, who can live within this. I can slap you and then you'll ask me for another cheek. That's indoctrination. That's brainwashing.
Wait. Drop that for me. Break that down. Because remember last week I was telling you that. I was saying some of what you need dropping. Not that it's so heavy the average person ain't going to catch it.
Right.
But some of that stuff, I want you to run that one back. You know what I'm saying? That sounded like that was important. It sounded like it was important, but something I want to hone in on. What's indoctrination?
Indoctrination is when you, in the simplest terms, do you like Coke?
Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
No.
Have you ever been yearning for a Coke though? And you don't even like Coke?
Guaranteed.
Why? Because every 2 minutes you see it on a commercial. That's the indoctrination. They're making sure that whether you think about it, your subconscious.
Inception?
Inception. Well, like in the movie.
Okay.
I make you believe something is real by repeatedly showing you that you like it. Prime example, when we were kids, many of us were kids. The only superheroes we saw were blonde-haired, blue-eyed, but white people. We were indoctrinated. Especially when I hear brothers tell me religion.
No, it's
your
funny.
gods. Think about it.
Right.
Asians, Indians, blacks, and whites. Who's the Indian god? It's an Indian dude with a little head and the arms, right? Asians, it's an Asian dude or a god like that. White people, it's a white person. Black people, it's a white person. But all of that's from school down. Say so.
I was gonna say that the white God is actually, it doesn't look anything like what it says in their book. You know what I'm saying? That's a stolen prophet from us. That says skin of copper and hair of wool. But even in black churches, you see a white Jesus with white hair on the cross or with blonde hair.
That's what I'm trying to say to you. Everything that they've been teaching is a lie. But let me for indoctrination.
For the sake of education, right? And you'll clarify this a little more. For the sake of education, a lot of times we go to Catholic schools, all right? Mm-hmm. I went to public high school. I went to public junior high school. I started off in public high school. I just told you I hung out my whole 10th grade year. You know what I'm saying? My mom's wasn't having that shit. She was gonna pay for me to go to school and sent me to Catholic school. You know?
No, it's on the side.
You know, she was gonna pay for me to go to school and send me to Catholic school.
Right.
Right? Now, there was no Black history in such Catholic school. None. Zip, zero, zilch.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was telling you last week how I knew. Damn, man. Nah, fuck that. I'm on your show. I think I was telling you last week how I knew the priest was faggots.
Right.
Word to mother. You understand what I'm saying? That already threw me off. But the education to this day, doing what it is I do for a living, printing t-shirts, I still use that math that I learned inside that classroom. When
real quick, that's what I was telling KC. The standardized testing that you were talking about, you know what I mean? That even during segregation, what's wrong?
It sounds far away. You already done it now.
Hello? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, so
Okay. So what I was saying is that the standardized testing, because Casey was saying that even before we got integrated, when we were segregated, we were still learning the same concept and the same standardized testing, right? And I told him, I agree with you. Like you said, math, science, English.
even writing, yo, right now, for the part that you told me to prepare for to get with you, I wrote an outline.
Right.
I'm not saying that they never taught that in public school, but in that Catholic school, that outline was part of my grade.
And that's what I'm saying. But here's the problem I have with the difference between segregation and integration when we get to history. What's important with history is a lot of white people walk around with a privilege that they are better than people. We just clarified that superheroes, what you saw, made you believe what your superhero was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about yearning and how you yearn for something because you see it so many times. Don't even like Coke, but sometimes you'll yearn for it. It's always in your face.
No guarantee. I said it last week. I don't want to fuck no white women, but
and all your history is telling you that
good.
you're a conqueror. That it's okay that you raped, murdered, and plunged, as long as you look at the outcome. Look what I did for these people, all these people whose hands I chopped off, raped their children and beat them. It's okay. It's taught to you. Every day as a white child, that is okay. And every day as a black child, you're taught you are a slave.
So
what do you think
that's why they
you?
keep slavery inside the because slavery minutely is something that's inside. I learned about that in high school. Word.
Go ahead.
Oh, you were starting a question I was going to answer.
Yeah, please.
I think you're going to say, do you think that's why they keep slavery in the history books? Well, actually, right now they're trying to get it out of the history books because it shines a bad light on them. They don't want to see the bad that they've done. Just like with Billie Holiday, they didn't want her to sing "Strange Fruit" because it turned a mirror onto what they were doing to the black people. They don't want to see that. So now they're trying to pass bills to get that stuff stricken from the history books. You know what I'm saying? As if it never happened.
And that's what I'm trying to show you. Because with everything, they look at the effect of the indoctrination. What are we getting as a result from the people? Before, when you had solely white supremacists, and I'll put this however you want to say it, white teachers that did not fight back, that weren't free thinkers. Then you had everybody stayed in line. 60s, 70s, all we did was march. Nobody really got out of hand. We knew who we were. We stayed there. We actually thought life was getting better because we were so blinded by it. Then all of a sudden now you have the hippies come in and then you have all this free thinking and this free sexuality. And now you have these white people.
Man, why you said hippies? Hippies was here in the 60s and they great people.
No, I know that, but they're free thinkers. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
The white
No, that's what I'm
version
saying. Why'd you say hippies?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're free thinkers. As free thinkers, there's always a good guy and a bad guy, even if he looks like you. They don't want to lose their position of where they are in this world, but they do want to say, you can't do this. Look what you're doing, because they want to feel like they're better than somebody. We all do. That put a hair in there in white society and white supremacy. Because now I got white people telling me we bad for what we did. Look what all I gave you. And you want to sit here and get mad at me now? So what do? What's the next step? Again, to show you the power of education. Like Casey said, they want to take it out of our history books now. That way we squash the whole problem. They weren't slaves. We didn't beat them. They came here by choice. They came here because they wanted to. Go ahead, Casey.
Some schools are saying they're changing it to, they changed the whole slavery situation to immigration. Like slaves are being referred to as immigrants from Africa now. Like that's a real thing. That's a real thing going on right now.
What y'all are talking about immigration, right? When you talk about immigration, who else do you consider to be immigrants of black people's challenges? You know, who face, if not the same challenges, close to.
We're gonna have a whole conversation about that one day, but this is what I tell black people.
But we're in California right now. Would you say that the influx of Mexican immigrants affect the schooling and reasons maybe that they would keep Black history out, saying, now look, we have so many more different factions of people, we can't just put Black history in there?
No. There's nothing to do with what Black history has nothing to do with the influctuation of Spanish people in this country. No,
not with the influctuation, but a lot of Spanish people being a lot of Mexicans, and I'm just using that because once again, we right here in California. Mm-hmm. A lot of Mexicans coming from Mexico. I live in an all Mexican neighborhood. Love it. I don't know if it's all Mexican, but an all Hispanic neighborhood, and love it. Honestly, love the culture. Those kids and Black kids going to school together, right? I'm saying, do you think some of this white society is now saying the equal amount of Blacks, you got equal amount of Mexicans, we can't just change the curriculum to add Black history if we're not going to add the Mexican history also? Because the same way they're not adding our history, they're surely not adding Mexican history. And I was bugging when I came out here and seen blocks like, I didn't know what Mexican was. I thought all Mexicans were a round-faced indigenous person. When I first touched down in California, my words were, oh shit, Mexicans are real people, yo. That was a God the honest truth, yo. I never heard of a Sepulveda. I never heard of a La Cienega. I never heard of a La Tierra. None of that, yo.
I mean, you grew up around Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. As in, dude, I didn't know who Cesar Chavez was. You know who Cesar Chavez was to me? The best boxer in the world. Julio Cesar Chavez. I'm being dead serious.
Nah, real talk.
And I joke a lot, but I ain't even smile. That was I didn't know who Che Guevara was.
Okay, so if I think I understand the question, then I'll change my answer a little bit. With so much influx in Hispanics into this country, they want to have their history told, yes. Changing Black history is not an effect or because of them. Changing Black history is to take, like Casey said, the negative light off of them, right?
Okay.
The not showing Hispanic history is because then they have to admit that they are on stolen land. Mexico owned all this shit. And one of the big reasons why I fuck with Mexicans when people ask me why is if you know your fucking history, Mexicans went to war with America when they wouldn't return slaves.
I mean, and you're saying if you know your fucking history, you know, hey man, I didn't know that.
Oh no, I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying
I don't
like
know my fucking history, you know. But
this guy,
you know, yeah, you know what I mean. That's what I'm saying, yo, dude. Power to the people, man. Power to the whorish people.
Damn you and Kier, huh? I want you to know, y'all. We throw Kier on the bus every episode, and all Kier says is, he don't defend himself. So one day he's gonna go on a date, and a girl is gonna be like liking him, and another girl's gonna walk by and go, "That's that whore Kier," and he's gonna be like, "Yo, no."
No, he's gonna go.
You have a very unique name, bro. It's not like many people are going to admit the name is Kier because it's so unique.
Yeah, I met one other brother with that name.
I have not. You are that one brother.
What's it has meaning behind his Kier from somewhere else? What is it?
Kier is actually Celtic for dark one.
Okay.
Casey, why'd you laugh?
Hold up. Now, let me ask some more. Hold up.
I can't stand Casey.
I mean, Casey probably laughed because of the way he grabbed the microphone. He said, Here's actually Celtic.
I'm laughing because Celtic, like from what, Ireland or Scotland, and so it was like they call Blackie. It was like who's the darkest one. So his name is pretty much Blackie.
Yo. Was this something you found out? Was it something someone told you?
I think my parents were the ones that actually told me that. Yeah.
Oh my God! You know what Rennie just said? Was it what you call this shit? Inception. What do you call it?
Indoctrination.
Do you think the white man?
No.
Said he's Celtic, and his mom and his dad was like Celtic, darky. Keep him. You think?
No idea. I hope not.
No. From the story that I understand is they went to the supermarket and there was somebody that went behind the cashier with the name Kier. So they asked what the name meant, and he was like, "Oh, it's Celtic for dark one." And they were like, "Oh, well, we don't really like that." But then when I was born, I'm darker than my father, and he's darker than my mother.
Oh
So
my!
they were just like,
darky.
"Oh, well, like not." They didn't call me darky, but
That's what they did.
If y'all edit this, I want y'all to run it back to the part
Well,
where
you got to
said,
think of
"Well,
it this way.
don't
Like you
really
said,
like
it's a unique
that."
name. It's a unique name. If you don't know that beforehand, it's a beautiful name.
Would you
Bro,
suppose?
no one stops it from being a beautiful name, but you do have to explain it, and that's where they fucked you, bro.
I mean, I don't usually tell that story. So
well, thank you for telling us, because it's going down forever.
And that,
I will
folks,
never
was
forget
Kier.
it. Yes, so Kier is the Horish dark one. Roughly translated. Back to this thing. Hey, do me a favor real quick. On that, let's break on that. Take play commercial, and then when you come back, hit me with that video.
Cause it's Taco Tuesday. Where is it? Taco time. Where is it? Taco. Where is it? Taco. Where is it? Taco. Where is it? It's Taco. Where is it? Taco. It's Taco Tuesday.
I was taught that the chiefs of the tribes in Africa sold their people into slavery. If it had not been that way, there would not have been any slaves anywhere in America for Robert E. Lee or anybody else to have owned. So don't blame Robert E. Lee. Maybe you should be after your ancestors.
It says in the Bible, Jesus himself never condemned slavery. In fact, he said slaves have an obligation to obey their master.
And that goes back to what I just said. What you teach people, that perception that they have that it's their right to be this way, to own. You heard it slip up, own. You understand? And that's how he truly feels. And is he wrong for that because he was taught that way? You understand what I'm saying? And that's where I'd be like, in this day and age with so much technology, with ways to homeschool our children, Zoom classes, that it's not upon us now that we start separating our children from these kids and from these schools. I talked about Miss Miller. Oh, I haven't talked about it. Malika Miller, a young lady, was murdered, hung, lynched after being bullied and dumped. Her parents threatened not to tell the police or her sexuality would come out. That's how crazy this is, that our kids are getting beat up, jumped, and killed in schools now. And the system is not, these principals, teachers are doing nothing about it. Just like when we're killed in the street, the DAs and the fucking police are doing nothing to help us. When our kids go missing, the system does nothing to help us. So at this point, why are we not homeschooling, creating little situations? My mic's messing up, they're telling me.
Why are we not homeschooling? I mean, I'm not gonna tell you because I don't got kids. If I had kids, I would probably want them homeschooled. I would definitely think about, dedication to it. I'm not even gonna define it. I don't have too much confidence in certain people to know that they're going to be homeschooled a certain way. But once again, remember, I went to that Catholic school, So are you talking about that inception, how it is that somebody probably should learn? Once again, they put that inception in my head.
But here's my thing is, we only believe, prime example, like I talked to you about, public schools, underfunded, undereducated, the least educated or years and teachers, the best teachers don't go to public schools. How much worse could somebody in our community do than that?
A lot worse.
No, I got kids right now that I can tell you, like you said, that go to class every day, haven't learned shit from their teacher because their teacher don't care about it.
I'm gonna keep it real, B. A lot of our black mothers are not fit to be schooling their kids at no damn home.
So then don't.
Word.
So then, you know what I love about that? That's a perception a lot of us have about our black mothers or our black people.
I know,
but at the same time, nothing against you, but I'm just saying,
word.
But we don't have that about white people who are doing the same, if not worse, to our children. And my thing about it, hold on, is that we don't know it, yet we don't give our people a chance. Or, excuse me, I hate when people just talk without a solution. Here's another solution. Find that one woman, who is that person that does know it. And if they're renting $600, each one of you break down 16 children, send it to her, and I don't want to put my child in nobody's house. I can't trust them. You send them to school every day where there's no camera watching what these people are doing to your children. But guess what? Our way, it can get better. For that $10 you're paying per student, now you add on $2 to each person. They get a blink, they get cameras. Did you hear anything I was saying? Okay. What was I saying? Oh, solutions. So we need to think about how do we fix the solution. You get a lady who needs her rent paid. Everybody's going through hard times. She seems to be good with children. She can teach. If you don't want it to be a man, you can pay her rent, send your kids to her house. You can put cameras in her house. She has to be okay with that. It's on a blink system. We all got passwords to it. She can shut it off after work hours or take them down. That means now you can watch your child. Your child can be taught at home. You get the basics, like KC said, of the statewide testing, and then you teach them Black history. It's possible. It's possible. If you're going to send your kid to school every day and there's no camera seeing them, you send them to a teacher who doesn't care, who's also criminalized them. I wish I put this video in there too for y'all to play. The video of the two young boys are in the school fighting. One kid is trying to get away from the other kid who's trying to attack him and runs around the teacher and does this as he runs around. The fucking bitch tells him that's sexual harassment. The teacher, let's be clear.
It's kind of hard, I got to present another side of some of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of what you're speaking, it makes it sound like a lot of our kids are proper. All right? And we're not. And I remember being that badass kid in school. I remember when I was in school and I didn't want the class to go on.
So why would I send my kid who's not proper to a white woman who doesn't understand the inflection of his voice, doesn't understand the pain that he goes through every day when he's on the block?
You have the advantage of saying white women right now. When I went to junior high school and when I went to high school, no, all my teachers wasn't white. And no, I didn't have the choice of which teacher, was going to teach me. Honestly, no, I did not. I did have very good Black teachers in which I had an arts teacher, Mr. Holliday. Mr. Holliday was official when I was in junior high school. And he was very influential in a lot of people's lives. You know what I'm saying? And getting them to move on to schools that maybe fit who it was they were. There was people that were in the arts, people that were into good drawing and stuff like that. And he definitely was pointing people in that direction. And I see and understand what you're saying. That Black teacher definitely took more care and more interest and more concern and was interested to know that we were going to make it somewhere. Understood. But we didn't have a choice when we registered for school, which we got to go to school, or to my, I guess to, you know, I can't talk for my mother, but ignorantly speaking, to my mother's understanding, your kids got to go to school. They can't just sit at home and be what you call a truant.
But here's the thing is, that was when we were kids. But especially with Corona now, it has given us an opportunity that we never knew we had before. That our kids can be homeschooled. That our kids can learn through a Zoom. So if now we are, like, here's the thing is, I am never mad at somebody for not knowing if the knowledge was never there for them. But you tangibly know that there's a solution that you can do right now. And no, not every kid is good. Not every kid is bad. But I have a 75% more better chance with a Black teacher than I do a white teacher to not feel threatened that this little Black kid who's angry and frustrated and needs help should not have the police called on him.
I mean, that I can understand. I wouldn't be able to downplay that. And I think back to when I was in high school, because when I was in high school, a couple of kids got killed when I was in high school. Word. I was talking about the Dominicans up on the 5th floor. They stabbed each other up. Word. Some other kids brought baseball bat to school and beat this kid over the head right on the 1st floor area. That was the inception of metal detectors going in our schools, right? Now, what was bad with me, I was young. I quit that Catholic high school that my mother was sending me to because I wanted to hustle. I wanted to get money. And I wound up getting this telephone. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days, I used to have a telephone that was illegal. And I took it to school with me. And I went through the metal detector with the telephone, right? And I got charged with 5 felonies for that. Word, just for a telephone, you know what I'm saying? That I bought from somebody on Fordham Road in the Bronx.
But here's what, and again, it goes back to my point when you tell me those stories. Although we integrated into their system, they always kept us segregated. They always kept school to prison pipelines set up for our children.
I believe.
Because I went to school with white kids who had more drugs, more illegal phones, more guns than I ever saw at the Black school. And they got sent home. No police call, no 5 felonies, no nothing.
Yeah, and that's kind of sort of what I was reflecting on.
When I was in school, the whole soccer team got caught being drunk, even though they won the game. It was in the paper for maybe one day, and then they took it out the paper, and every kid was cool. When I was in high school, they had a party so crunk that the balcony broke, and like 300 children got injured.
When did you go to high school? You said they had a party so crunk?
Yeah. Shut up.
Are you serious? You went to crunk parties?
Anyway, yes.
Oh my God, yo.
I hate this guy sometimes.
What was the word back then? Not lit.
It wasn't lit.
It was crunk when he just said it. He didn't, that's not it. You've never heard him say crunk. He's never jumped up like, yo, let's get crunk. Never, yo. That was it. He really recalled high school just now.
Yeah, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. I guess that was high school.
Yeah, wow. East Side Boy.
This is why people hang out with dumb people so their smart friends don't make them look bad. I definitely said crunk. Yes, we're going to go there. I definitely tapped into high school, and I told you I went to school with a lot of white kids. And
were you the Black kid? Like, did they want you to be like, well, okay, just because you was Black?
No. There were other kids for that, but I wasn't like.
Someone said poppin' in the comments.
Popping, yes, things was popping, yeah. But that's more of an East Coast cool kid thing. Crunk was definitely not cool. Thanks.
Nah, from the Bronx, crunk wasn't cool. I'm letting it be known right now, B. Yeah. Lil Jon did not play in nobody's radio if it wasn't on the radio.
Right, different times.
Yeah, no.
But again, back to what I was saying. And again, when I say a lot of these things, I'm saying this to say that I'm not saying, and I'm saying what I'm about to say, I'm saying this more for Kevin because he did show me sometimes that disclaimer is necessary. I'm not saying all white teachers are bad. That's definitely not what I'm saying. I am saying what I always say with everything in this day and age in the current culture that we live in. Why play Russian roulette with your life, with your child's life, and with your child's education? If many of our parents and our children had an opportunity or the will to go to after school programs like there used to be, then yes, you can send your school to the regular school that you want to send to. And then while after they're damaged, you heal them. But that's not a case that many caring parents have. So if you're going to send your kid to have a choice, because that's what's ending up happening for a lot of parents right now. You're ending up with a choice. Do I send my son to their school or do I homeschool them?
You say a lot of stuff should come with solution, right?
Right.
And I think sometimes we be looking for solution in the wrong place. All right. Because I'm sitting here saying to myself, while you're saying this, I'm thinking about, once again, reflecting on my experience. After school program was really latchkey kid shit. It was really my mom's works late and I just shouldn't be home by myself. So we go to after school program. You know what I'm saying? In high school, I was in detention every day. That was my after school program because I did something in school every day. So I damn sure had something. And I should reach out to my teachers to say thanks a lot, because in the after school or in detention, after school program in my school, I used to have to write the stock market because there used to be all these little tiny numbers, yo. And I used to be adding them numbers up because I ain't have nothing to do while I was writing them. So the 0 and the 5 and the 7 and the 3, I knew that that's 15. Word. I knew off the top. You know what I'm saying? The 5 and the 7 is 12. Add another one. That's 3. 0 represents 0. Okay, I got 15 right here. I used to just be making things up. And now in my business, numbers are very needed in what it is I do for
So
a
after
living.
school program worked for you.
I'm gonna say it worked for me. Detention, attention. You know what I mean? Whether it's attention that I had to pay to myself from keeping myself busy, you know. And I only broke what you were saying, really, to say, as Black people, which damn, you never hear me say stuff like this. As Black people, we kind of sort of gotta bring up the confidence in our people on the interior, because I am sitting here saying, damn, man, bitches, I'll be fucking damn sure ain't smart enough to be teaching their kids, yo. Word of mother. And I know it's a lot of people who might be saying that, and you shot solution, you know what I'm saying? Well, then we're gonna find that sister whose rent is XYZ, and we should take care of her rent, and we should make sure that she can school our kids. And obviously there's other reward wanted by people, you know, and solutions should
And
be
also
worked
remember,
on.
I'm not talking about everybody, because we can't save everybody. You know how many times we both know people in our project or where we grew up who you could tell them over and over and over and over and over, this is what's good for you. They still do what's wrong. I can't speak for everybody, but to the people who listen, who usually watch my show, they want to know, what can I do? I feel like I tell people all the time, we're behind enemy lines. We're being brainwashed, physically attacked, and mentally destroyed as a people. And what we're here to do is not just go, hey, let's beat a dead horse. This is what's happening to us. This is what happened. No, let's talk about solutions. Excuse me, no matter how you look at it, what did you see in a change, at least for me? When I was a kid, we had after school programs. Then they started getting rid of after school programs and arts, and things went left and kids got crazy. And now that we have a second chance, what should we be bringing back? What should we be? Because I hear everybody get mad at me about voting, and I talk to people about, while y'all were distracted by the presidency, y'all didn't pay attention to the school board meetings, PTA.
But they weren't paying attention to that to start with.
Exactly. And again, remember what I'm saying. Now that we have this corona that came, that's changing everything. The world is not going to be the same again. Where do we go now?
I'm personally, and I make visits to houses, all right? And damn, man, I'm going to remember what Kurt told me, man. Word, can't always show everybody who you are, but I'm going to say this. I get a lot of pussy. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of houses that I done been in, okay?
Right.
I don't see any of these fucking kids learning, dude. And I'm keeping it real.
But here's the thing.
I do see smart ones. I do see, you know, women have kids that they're very articulate and they're, yes, mommy, and yes, mommy, and, you know, yeah. But I'm talking about when I go to your house, your daughter had to read the other night. You understand?
Yeah.
She had to read the other night. When I was on the phone with you the other day, you was like, yo, I don't want to see you doing nothing else until I know that XYZ got read. Oh, shit, reading again. So I know that that's a theme in your house.
Yeah.
I know that that's a theme in your house. You understand what I'm saying? And I know the woman that you have in your house. So it's much different than what it is I'm talking about. So I'm reminding you that there's a whole bunch of what I'm talking about and a very little bit of what you possess.
And again, because we know that, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I don't want to keep downing our people for what they don't know. But now I'm saying to you is a lot of people got left at home with their kid. A lot of people got left at home with their kid. I'll say it again. You know what they learned? What their kid is not learning? That their kid is a fucking bastard and it's their fault.
Every house that I've been in, this is supposed to be the computer. It's like this.
Which is why I said
Word.
homeschool your kid, because right now, what you're seeing is what they're allowing in a school that you didn't have a camera before to see. What you're seeing is the lack of education being taught to our kids. You know why? Because my daughter goes to a different type of school with better teachers, more white kids. She's the minority. And they are on top of those kids to open that book, to open that computer.
So-
Where a white teacher teaching black kids will say,
A white-
hold on, stop. Do me a favor. Play this. This is what black people do. Racist teacher quits after student mom exposes racism.
This is a no-show the whole year, right? She keeps calling the school and complaining, and the teachers are just pissed off beyond belief. It's because she thought I was her friend Natalie. When I called, because I've got a message from the office, Mom's calling, and she's screaming and yelling, nobody calls her back. I called her like 5 million times. I sent her 5 million parents cards. She never responds. She goes, I call her, right? And leave a message. She doesn't bother to check the message. She just thought the number was her friend Natalie. So she calls me back. My phone rings. I'm like, hello? She goes, hi, Natalie. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this isn't Natalie. This is... Oh. Now she's caught. Because she's answered her phone for the first time the entire year. I mean, these parents, that's what kind of piece of they're. Black. He's black. They're black family.
I know it.
You know?
I'm seeing what you're not going through.
Yeah, that's what happened. There's no problem there. Your son has learned to lie to everybody and make excuses.
Are you
To be
serious?
entitled. Because you taught him to make excuses that nothing is his fault. This is what black people do. This is what black people do. White people do it too, but black people do it way more. Oh my god, I just burned her. I just burned her. Everybody is like thrilled all year. And it never would have happened had she not thought I was Natalie.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Saying, and you're learning now because of these Zoom things, and you're catching these teachers with their true feelings about your child. And their generalizations about every child is the same, every student. So when we talk about, you see kids who don't have their computer up, why is that teacher not being more? Remember, that teacher's being paid to teach that child. So why is she not asking, like my daughter's teacher does, to her majority white class, everybody's cameras have to be
I'm
open.
gonna say this: your daughter got decent parents, more than decent parents. All right,
We have
And
nothing to do with the teacher's
I'm not-
actions.
understood. But I'm not standing up for these teachers, but I am standing up for what it was I was originally telling you. We need to bring up the confidence and decency
Oh, definitely.
in
I
our
got a
That's what
community.
you're saying. I agree.
Because number one, I come from a day
Hold on
where
1 second.
I got a comment here saying, you witnessed the damage being done in plain sight. This pandemic opened up a window for us to see what really goes down in these classrooms.
Thank you. So you're right about the decent. I hear everything you're saying. I'm not
what
discrediting
goes
what you're
down
saying.
in our classrooms, and I'm once again, I'm not trying to stand up for the white teacher, all right? But
Let's do this.
the
Let's
attitudes
take
our
away from
kids
the-
go to school with,
Let's get away from the white teacher. Let's get away from the white teacher, because the reality is, it has nothing to do with the teacher is white or black. It's the way the system is
what
built.
can it, the way the system is built, and it seems like, once again, I don't have children, all right?
Right.
And I stay away from them. It don't seem like the lane is given for some of these teachers to actually first of all, it doesn't seem like they're compensated enough for
They're
the work
definitely
that
not.
they're asked
They're
to
definitely
do.
not.
Okay. It doesn't seem like the curriculum changes with the time. Okay. Because, well, it's obvious it doesn't, because that's the reason we're talking about this. Black history should be in every curriculum.
Facts.
Period. End of story. Like he said, slavery seems to be in all of the curriculums, and he's saying now they want to get rid of it. So now when they get rid of it, are they going to replace it with the real? You know, no, they're not going to replace it with the real. So confidence of our people got to be up a whole bunch more. And we have to put 10 more times the effort forward to keep teaching our kids and sending our kids to school with that knowledge.
But here's the thing is, and so two solutions we're both saying. And they're the same thing with me adding a little bit more on. We both agree that our people have to make an understanding of what's in front of them, which is why we have these shows,
Yes,
to
sir.
show the truth of what's in front of them. Once you get a parent who chooses to see the truth in front of them, they have to understand now that I have to hold myself more accountable. I have to hold my child more accountable. I have to be a better parent. Like you just said, they have to become better people. All I'm saying is, where you said they need to do these things and then teach their child about who they are, so when I send them back to school, they know who they are. I'm saying cut that out. Stop sending your kids back to school. If there's a tangible person in your community who may not be you that needs the financial help, what we're doing is building a circle. Black economics means you're paying a teacher's rent so she has a place to live, or he, whoever you want to call that teacher, who takes the same curriculum that these other teachers are teaching, white or black, who don't get paid enough, who may not care. You're paying this person financially enough to care.
Do we have to go back to segregating ourselves to do that? Are you segregating yourself?
My point was, we never ended segregation.
Okay.
The idea of integration is a lie. You know why? Because all it did was take our money, destroy our teachers. The good teachers we had, they didn't want them because they had good white teachers. The teacher that takes the extra time, like you see on the news reports, who got handshakes that they end up stealing, or decorates the homeroom, or has raps with their students, who understands how to get to those black children. So although they're given the same curriculum and the same money, they go over and above who they are because they understand the kids that they're teaching. That white teacher's not doing that. She's gonna take her check and leave. Or use that as a time to put her white thoughts. Like I can show you, hold on, play this video of the George Floyd, the white teacher. So listen to this.
What do you got?
A Zoom class unlike any other. Students say their Dickinson High School teacher gave them a profanity-laced lesson in hate. A discussion on climate change devolving into Howard Zlotkin airing his grievances.
If you think I'm privileged, then you know F you.
At one point, yelling at one student.
I'm privileged.
Tamia Williams, a 17-year-old senior, said the landscape and design teacher seemed to focus on black students, saying this about the killing of George Floyd.
I hear people whining and crying in Black Lives Matter, but George Floyd was a criminal that was being arrested.
Just picked 4 girls that, you know, they were black too. And he told them, like, you know, I want an essay from you guys.
But Tamia and her mother say they immediately contacted school officials and the Board of Ed.
Who does that? Who would curse? I don't even curse at my own daughter.
But the family says they heard nothing back until they contacted News 4. To their surprise, Zlotkin was back in class today and again cursing at students, telling Tamia about her refusal to do the essay.
You know what, Tamia, don't worry about it. You're full of too.
You know, it hurts, it bothers me.
She was crying. She came to me, she called me, and she tells me, Mom, why is it that there is a problem with my skin?
The district saying late today an investigation is underway and that Zlotkin was removed from teaching, explaining the school was in the process of taking statements from students today before proceeding with disciplinary actions. And then the second video surfaced. The teacher will not have access to students or the school as we proceed. We are appalled by the statements, profanity, disrespect, and treatment of students. We emailed Zlotkin and visited his listed address.
Hello, you've reached Howard.
Even left a message on his voicemail but did not receive a response.
I just hope he doesn't teach at all.
In Jersey City, Checky Beckford, News 4, New York.
That's the problem. We got to remember these people have their own emotions also.
Do me a favor. I didn't catch that whole thing. What was in there? The kids are on Zoom.
They're in a class that has nothing to do with George Floyd. The teacher brings up George Floyd and curses out and targets the black students who happen to be female with his anger about the trial of George Floyd and about the fact that Black lives don't matter, and he's cursing at children. Now, like you were saying earlier, where you may get a lady in our community we teach and we put a camera and we can see her, there are no cameras in your school. This is what was happening to our kids every day coming home, and we would tell them it's not that deep. Go ahead with some comments.
Yeah, we got two comments here. First one is Remy has a point about some white teachers. My sons were bullied at an elementary school by the teachers and the students. And then it says it's not segregation, it's out of respect for the oath that they keep to teach our kids.
That part. And that's the part. It's like, we are at a place where we're asking for you to see us as humans and equality. We're asking police, so if you cannot kill a white person, please don't kill a black person and let us go to court and find out if we were really guilty of what you said we're guilty of. But because you don't want to do the real police work, you're shooting us in the street. I'm telling you to come teach my child the curriculum, not how you feel personally about it. But we got to be honest. We know that comes with teaching.
I feel like we can talk this, and I remember this from being a kid. You know what I'm saying? My mom used to tell me, don't have me in that school looking like an ass, you know?
But that's also where the problem, because our parents believe teachers to be these higher level people.
Other than that, my mother was telling me, don't be the, if she's going to come and stand up for me, please don't lie to her.
That part. Yeah.
Don't lie to her. You know what I'm saying? Give her the whole scenario.
So like you told me,
of what I did.
That's a good parent. There are many melanin black people who look at teachers like gods, like police officers. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how much their child tells them, this is what's happening to me. The teacher said that wouldn't happen and that you talk too much. And I know you talk too much when you go home. Wait, what does one have to do with the other? Oh, we shot him because he was a criminal. So what? He didn't have a gun the time when you saw him. So why'd you pop him 16 times in the back? You know what I mean? So yes, your mother was like my father. My father, short story, running in the hallway. You're not supposed to run in the hallway. Teacher sits in class and listens to me running in the hallway, throws the door open and hits me. I got up, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he mumbles under his breath, oh, this little nigga think he can do something. And I beat his ass. I punched him dead in his shit, got into a whole fight. When my dad came, before he walked in his office, I told him to his face. I was so angry. I just told the truth. I was running the hall, wasn't supposed to. Motherfucker opened the door. My man's even told me, he sat by the door and listened to me come, hit me with the door, and he called me a nigga under his breath. And my dad said, can you prove any of that? I said, no. He goes, then you fucked up. Walked in that room and ate them a new motherfucking one. He went in and defended me like there was no tomorrow. And when I got home, I got my ass beat. But when he was in front of them people, that one action of what he did made me feel like I could go up against anybody at my school as long as I was 100% right. My point for the story is we are 2% of the generation of most of our kids. Most of our kids do not get that support from their parents. Most of our kids don't get that loyalty from their parents. And it feeds into how they react on other levels. So I'm saying that to say that's a solution for my parents. It needs to be you and your kids against the rest of the world. Suicide for children in middle school age has raised so scary, it's out of control. They are murdering themselves because they're going to school, dealing with this type of bullying, dealing with this type of shit. And then they come home and their parents and they can't talk to us. They can't. I found out my daughter was being bullied, and he'll tell you, I talk to my daughter all the time. But she was like, I didn't feel like it was your fault because I do this and I do that. And I said, baby girl, you don't deserve none of that. I had to find another way to talk to her because I had to stop doing this. Hey, baby, how was your day? It was good. And that'd be it. Something I saw on, as funny as it is, social media taught me. Now I ask my daughter, baby, how was your day? What'd you learn today? Who did you like? I bet you got into a fight with somebody. Who was it? And now she tells me shit. And that's how I found out she was getting bullied. She's like, oh, this girl named Jacqueline, she keeps talking about me and everything. And she's rambling off, telling me things. I'm just asking her questions, not understanding you told me something that you've never told me before.
But it's the interest. And I think, and I'm going to take this back. I had told you, I said, yo, I go to a lot of households here, there, and everywhere. And I lack to see the interest that people have in their kids. Honestly, if you got a kid, and this is honest, if you got a kid that's sitting around playing a video game all day long,
every day,
or he's running to the game, or he blah, 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 I believe that that's you not showing enough interest in your kid.
And I'll agree with you.
That game is passive. That game is something that you
That's
put
like
in
when we were
front of
kids
them
and our
so they
people
can
would
shut up.
put us in
so
front
they
of
can-
TV.
Yep, have something to do. You know what I'm saying? And now the game is so realistic that it actually has them in that world. People are selling virtual real estate these days. You can pay that. I can probably pay to have my masterful printing advertisement inside somebody's video game. You know what I'm saying? And that would be the inception, like you were saying. Look at the games some of the kids are playing. Are they really interested in sitting down and learning ABCs and 1, 2, 3s when they're shooting big ass guns that they see me handling on the gun show, you know, honestly, inside their video games? When they're driving cars that they're seeing, you know, that they're seeing in Hollywood when dad takes them down, you know, to Hollywood, or when you go out to eat on Ventura Boulevard. You know what I'm saying? They're seeing all of this, and to them, they're like, I got that car. Oh, I got that gun.
So the parent needs to show more reality that that's not always real.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
More interest.
Yeah,
More
I agree with
interest,
you.
you know.
And if you don't put interest in your child, somebody else will. And they will brainwash your child into thinking that their abuse is okay.
Question, because you have a daughter, right? You don't have a son. Do you think little girls are getting more attention in the way that we're talking about than little boys? The little boys seem like
Yes.
they're the ones that are trying to be pacified. And the little girls, my mother's a dance teacher, my brother's a dance teacher. You know that. You know how many of those kids they're teaching. You
No,
know?
that's 100%. It's another thing that you say. We were brainwashed into believing that little boys don't need the same type of love and affection and support that little girls. I mentor a bunch of little boys where I've had to tell them it's okay to say I love you, or talk to me about what your problems are. It's okay to talk about. And I remember them. They say to me what I used to say that caused me so much anger inside. Nah, I ain't bitching about nothing. I'm a man. I ain't gotta tell you shit because ain't nothing wrong with me. Nothing hurts me. That's a fucking lie. Something hurts you. But we've made it so little boys don't feel that they can say that this hurts or that I'm going through this. So they don't. So you're 100% right.
Yeah. And we can't stop that. That's evolution of our society. You know, the manly macho thing seems like it's the takeover. The ego, you know, seems to be present in what it is that we allow to be promoted for success.
Don't say we.
No. Our society.
Yeah, our society. Yeah.
The ego.
Because I don't see anything with the masculinity that we have, and I see nothing wrong with it. I think that we are following a brainwashing, like I said, from schooling and everything, a masculinity that is not our people.
And you have a comment? She says the interest in making sure that they are comfortable with one as a parent.
You're talking about keeping the kids' interest, and that's what it's talking about here. The interest, having the ability to keep the interest and making sure that they are comfortable with one as a parent.
No, and that's 100% right. I talk to, put it this way, he keeps pointing out my daughter. As a father, I know what I don't know. I don't know a lot of what my daughter goes through. So I do go out and drive with her. I do cook with her. And when I ask her stuff, I ask her, does that make you feel uncomfortable? A little bit. Okay. And then I find a woman. If my wife is not there, I'll talk to her mother. And if I can't find her mother, I got homegirls. It takes a village. And I go, can you talk to my daughter about this? My best person is Lucky, Lucky's wife. Lucky's wife will take her to go get her nails.
You can't have a better lady than
her.
No,
yeah.
You can't have a better lady than Lucky's wife.
Yeah.
Dude. See, that's what, and now that's for real. You need to find a collection of the Lucky's wives. No, seriously.
No, that is. I feel
find a
you.
collection of the Lucky's wives and possibly the Remy's, you know what I'm saying, to pair up with a lot of you know, the young sisters.
It takes a village.
Brothers. It used to be like that. You know, we talking about school being in my neighborhood where I'm from, we used to have the community center. You know, the community center where I'm from, I have never seen this brother again. His name was Sekou Ma'at. And while I was a kid, I never knew anybody. He ain't gonna know I'm doing something. While I was a kid, I never knew anybody with such type of name. You know what I'm saying? I never knew anybody with that type of name. But when I heard his name and how he presented himself and how we learned of this guy from the after school program in the community center, I knew that the brother was powerful. I knew that he was about something, you know? We gravitated towards Sekou. We gravitated towards Sekou. And there was other powers that be that were around that was trying to pull us somewhere else to come sell a drug up the block. You know what I'm saying? But we gravitated towards Sekou because he was intelligent. And I totally understood that he invested his personal time to do this. As a kid, I totally understood that. And it wasn't just we playing basketball or Sekou was showing us the ways of the black man or stuff like that. He was just a positive black man. He drove a dope ass Jetta. You know what I'm saying? How cars, you know, we from New York. If you have a car, it shows that you work a little harder, you know, honestly, because you don't need a car to move around New York City. He was well dressed, you know, and that
but he had a positive effect on your life.
But the brother was from Edenwald Projects.
And that's the point, is that you can find somebody in your own community. The problem I find for a lot of us right now is we look towards celebrities when the real heroes are in our community, are right next to us. They really are. You know, y'all see as wild as Kevin is. Y'all see as wild as Kevin is. He's still a great uncle. He's still a great uncle to my daughter. He's my village where my daughter feels safe. You know what I mean? And that's the point, is that you got to make sure that you have valuable people around you.
You think that we're missing some honesty? You think we're missing some honesty? Because I do know that that's one thing I bring around. You know, when I come around, me and you just stood in your house talking to Karee last time I was at your house, and we were talking to her about firearms, right?
Right.
We were talking to her about firearms, and generally, you know, you tell a kid that's not something that you can do. That's not something you can do. Stay away from that. Don't do that. But Karee's dad owns firearms legally, right? She knows that. And it's not like, oh, my dad owns firearms and he's legal. It's not like that. She knows that you coach her, teach her, you know.
Right.
And she's in return honest to you when she's like, Dad, am I gonna have to shoot this one? You know, and your honesty in return to her is Karee. You're gonna get in your rifle, your operator's stance. You're gonna get that into your shoulder. You know, you're gonna breathe. You're gonna get yourself on target. We're gonna squeeze the trigger. And then at the end of watching her shoot this big ass rifle, and she was able to handle the recoil, she knows to believe in you a little bit more because you are honest with her.
Right.
You know what I mean? Do you think that type of honesty is missing with what we're doing? Everybody don't have the chance to shoot guns with their kids. So where else is it?
It doesn't mean about shooting. It's just honesty. Like you said, a lot of what I feel that our parents do is we lie to our children too much. From stupid shit like fairy tales and Christmas and all that, whether you realize it or not, your kid gets used to you lying to them. And the lies you tell to supposedly keep them happy is more damaging sometimes. I'm always honest with my daughter, and I tell her I'm never going to make a promise I can't keep, but I will always do my best to tell you that I'll try something. And why I say that is because when you leave somebody like an outsider to be the only person that your kid trusts, no matter how much you tell them something is wrong, they're going to believe that person. And a lot of these teachers right now are doing bad things to our children. There's a lot of teachers that you see molesting children now. There's a lot of teachers you see putting their hands on children. Man. I just saw a video of a teacher who spanked a woman's child in front of her.
Didn't you say you got a video of somebody with the knee on the kid?
Oh, yeah, even George Floyd. I'm about to play a video, but I want you to I'm going to play the video and let me see what you think about that. Comment and let me know what you think about somebody in the current culture that we're in, one of the biggest cases that will go down in history of 2020, thinking that this was okay to do as a teacher. Run that clip.
Tonight, we're hearing from directly a young student who is pictured with a teacher's foot on his neck. This was at a North Texas elementary school. It did happen. The picture started circulating pretty quickly on Facebook, and Greenville ISD then put the teacher involved on administrative leave while they investigate. So what's the real story here? Well, some in the family tonight tell us that, including that very student who you'll hear from, they don't see a problem with what happened. Our Nicole Nielsen explains from Greenville.
I think she was doing it as a joke, like she didn't put pressure on it or anything.
Tonight, Zaylin Jackson, the 11-year-old student of Greenville ISD, seen in this controversial photo with his teacher's foot on his neck, is speaking out.
I feel like she was just playing. She didn't mean harm.
For context, his mother, who didn't want to speak on camera, says she's known the teacher as a friend for years. Zaylin says he also considers her his friend, but he explains what happened yesterday at Lamar Elementary School.
The teacher gave me a note, and she said my mom can put her foot on my neck if she have to. I did go with the joke because, I don't think she was going to put pressure, and she never did.
But he does understand what it may look like to others.
People think she was just trying to copy George Floyd.
Including some of his family members who were deeply unhappy with the photo.
No matter what race, what person, you don't put your foot on nobody else's child.
Today, the district superintendent said, joke or not, a photo like that should never have been taken.
Whether the student was a willing participant or not, if it was a staged picture or not, it was still extremely highly inappropriate and should not have taken place and definitely should not have been photographed.
And though the picture has created quite a stir, Zaylin himself has a final message.
I don't think she should be fired.
In Greenville, Nicole Nielsen, CBS 11 News.
And so you know, the district says tonight that their investigation into the teacher will include any witnesses and any people who may have also been involved in that.
He just said something and I want him to repeat. That's very tangible to this conversation about how you feel about this. Say what you just said.
As I was watching the thing, you know, I'm watching the little kid face, and it seemed like, you know, he wanted to speak up on it, but he didn't. And then I was going to raise an issue about the mother not wanting to be in the video and all that. And you've seen his aunt was in the video, but I took myself a little before and I was like, hold up. I would have got fucked up as a kid for even allowing somebody to put me in that position to say, yo, you get down and I'm going to do this and we're going to do that. I would have got beat down for allowing somebody to disrespect me like that or to put me in that position. Guaranteed.
And that's the problem, is that you asked about separation. For me, how are you going to call me your friend and do that to my child and think it's funny? How does any teacher who has an ethics, sorry for the background noise, there's always haters, y'all. They know we're doing this podcast. They're on the second floor.
Yeah, but
I've got two comments here for you. So we got Miss Amethyst that says you both are right about little boys being made shame to express their feelings without being told he's too soft or too gay or feminine. That kind of goes with the video. Like it didn't seem like he wanted to say his own piece.
Yeah. That look you saw in his face, it seems like that's a part of me. You can't tell somebody that made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a man, you're supposed to, you should have spoke up. Why you ain't speak up? And then the mom will probably get mad at him, like, why you ain't speak up then? It's like, no, why are you letting this happen to me? She's my teacher. She's an authority. I felt like I had to let it happen. And now I feel like I have to back her up because probably you or the teacher done said something to me behind closed doors. And what was the other comment?
Eli says we got to save our children. They are the future. He says he's watching. He's hoping to hear from you soon. Keep up the good work. And Miss Amethyst says again, the young man in that clip is brainwashed. Goes back to what Remy was saying about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that we got to understand that type of effect on our children is not funny in any shape or form.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
And it always reminds me of this clip. We weren't able to pull it up for you guys to see it. Did you get that other one of the guy talking? The one I showed you, the mock slave auction one? No, okay. So I'm gonna let y'all listen to it. And it's an old video, so you've probably seen it.
Racist field trip I have ever been on in my fucking life. They took us to a fucking cotton processing place. And there was a big ass cotton field out in the middle of fucking Raymond, Alabama, in the south of Montgomery County. We went there, and me and 28 other little nigglets in Miss Harper's third grade classroom, they took our asses out there in the middle of the fucking August heat and said, hey, y'all, they gave us bags and shit, like little cute little plastic bags with a cotton punk person with a smile on his face. And they were like, hey, y'all go out there, have fun, pick as much cotton as you want. And so my stupid ass went. I went. My mama signed off on it and didn't think about it. And I went to the fucking field trip. Out there in the field just having a good old time. We were singing songs and shit in the middle of the motherfucking field. Picking goddamn cotton in the middle of the fucking heat. And then, I'm thinking, because it's a field trip, they told us you can pick as much as you want. Hey, you get to keep the fucking cotton. You can keep it. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to keep it. And we go to get back on the bus. They're like, all right, kids, turn your bags in. And they take our asses inside and took all the damn cotton that we had. And then told us to get back on the fucking bus. So me being a little rebel, I took a handful of cotton, stuffed it in my pocket, and went home. Then my mama came when she was doing laundry the next night. She was like, what the fuck, is this cotton in your back pocket? I was like, yeah. Where the hell did you get unprocessed raw cotton from? Well, yesterday on that field trip, they took us to a cotton processing plant, and we got to pick cotton all day long. My mama came to the school, and I swear to God, that shit went down. She locked this woman in a room like, how dare you jive-ass motherfuckers take my kid and all these other ashy little Negroes to a fucking cotton field in the middle of the summer. You fucking soulless bitch. She fucking checked me out of school. I didn't go to school for 3 days behind that shit. She said, I don't want to have to look at that bitch.
And now 2 things from that story that's funny but not funny. Had he not took that cotton, right? His mother would have never known that happened to him. He'd have been traumatized. He didn't know. You see, he don't forget this story. They laughing because that's the only way to deflect the feelings that you have sometimes. So how many more stories like this do we have of kids going to school and this happening? Now, due to cell phones, we hear about slave auctions lately, where teachers are holding slave auctions, having assignments on how would you have took care of your slave. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we have to really think about the effect that is happening to our children and what we are seeing more and more and more every day. And think about the tangible things that I've said and even things that Kevin has said. What are you talking to your children? What are you doing with them after school if you can't take them out of school? Why are you not homeschooling your child? If you have the way to work from home, then you should. And if you can't, why don't you find that person in your community who can build a safe space for your child and other children to go learn the basics they need to know and more? Teach them math, science, and then get to history and teach them about who they are so they can be empowered. Be that teacher like he had that was in his arts program that helped him make sure he got to the next level. I was on TikTok, there was a girl talking about a story. Let me see if I can find the actual story real quick. Give me 2 seconds, y'all. You know what? While I look for this, we're going to go to another video, and I want you to listen to what this brother says. Play the black guy for me, and let them listen to what this brother says. And when I come back, hopefully somebody has a comment to understand what this brother says, how deep it is.
I think you can control a people, as I said, physically, unless you control them psychologically. So in many ways, we enable white supremacy. And if all the white people were to leave the planet today, white supremacy would still continue because we've been so indoctrinated with white supremacist tendencies. There's a brother, a psychologist out on the West Coast named Dr. Wade Nobles. And Dr. Nobles likes to say that the essence of power is the ability to define someone's reality and make them live according to that definition as though they chose that definition. And so today our standards of beauty, our standards for success, what does it mean to be happy? All of these things are in many ways, I think, instilled in our minds by a white supremacist culture. And those are the things that we're fighting.
So, did you get to the grift of what he's saying?
No.
Okay. So basically what he was saying is that white supremacy has become something that you don't need the oppressor to still beat it into you. It's so into us that we do it to ourselves as Black people because we have been indoctrinated, brainwashed through school systems and through our education system. That even in our Black spaces, you'll hear Black people look at you, see a cop shoot somebody, and said if he hadn't got the cop mad, he wouldn't happen to him.
We gotta get comfortable with black spaces, you know. Real talk, man. You know, like I hear when I see the brothers, and we got to get comfortable with black spaces. We got to take certain attraction away from certain things, you know, because it's certain people I don't want to be around. And I'm gonna keep it real, man. For the better of a lot of things, yeah, you should want to be around that. You know what I'm saying? But there's certain brothers that I don't want to be around. You know, as much I won't watch a Umar Johnson video. I won't watch and once again, because every time I watch the brother, he's yelling and screaming and angry, and somebody sent me one of his videos and just asked me to watch it. Word to mother. And it made perfect sense what he was saying. And he was talking about marijuana in our community and how they're just bowling it to us and how they're just gonna dumb down our fucking society. Right. You know what I'm saying? By making it legal, knowing that we gonna flock to that shit.
Right.
And it's the truth. I called New York City yesterday, and you know what somebody told me? Yo, 600, you could get the license to sell weed on the street. Word. He ain't thinking about his future. He damn sure ain't gonna be thinking about his future. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
But that's what you're saying right there, and that's in that thought process is what this brother was saying, that we have gotten to such a bad point as black people that without white people on our neck, we're still doing it to ourselves.
And what I'm saying is, we also got to find us some other people to translate that information, yo.
Oh, no, yeah, we know that. That's
because if Dr. Umar Johnson is who I got to get it from, you understand? We need another one to pop up when that good guy goes under his scandal.
So that's the problem I have too, is that we don't, the script is so easy. Whenever Dr. Umar gets too big, or even a Kevin Samuels, either we as black people, and which is what the brother was saying, put them against each other, make them fight for us, or we start destroying one or the other one. And that's what happened to both of them, Kevin Samuel and Dr. Umar. The first time they tripped or people found something negative, they tried to destroy Kevin Samuel because he was holding women accountable, not realizing that he doesn't just hold women accountable, he holds men accountable. But those videos don't go viral because it doesn't fit the norm to separate black men and black women. Dr. Umar is the same thing. He says everything right. And then when he talks about interracial relationship, people get offended. And then when he made the mistake, I call, people didn't have patience. But he stumbled with the schooling situation. People start calling him a fraud. Even with the Tariqs. Tariq does hidden.
Who is
Tariq. His name is Tariq. He's another one of them. And we attack these brothers when they're bringing us the same information that we could go look up ourselves, but they're brave enough to put their faces out there. I don't agree with any one of all three of those men at the same time, but I respect them enough to know that I don't need to drag them.
Brother that seemed like he got all, and we do got to get a piece of what I'm about to say out of. I'm about to say, who's the other brother that seemed like he got all the bitches, B? Seemed like he got all the bad wives, yo. He always introducing another one of his wife, but he's always so angry and he talks like this. And he might be from Brooklyn or something. Who is that?
Polite?
That's yo, dude. Who is he? What does he do? He seems like, and I haven't watched him. I stay away from it because it looks like buffoonery, and I'm just gonna be honest. So that's why I said it needs to be somebody else to translate some of this information.
Here's my biggest problem I have for people.
But who is the guy with all the wives?
I think it's Polite who's you're talking about.
That is what I'm talking about. Right. Good brother, big brother almighty, or whatever.
But here's my thing I say to people. Stop looking for a leader. Stop looking for a God.
Right.
If we're going to say that we need to take accountability or hold white people accountable, we got to hold ourselves accountable. Didn't nobody tell you I was your guy with guns? You went out and learned the information yourself, and now you've surpassed me. On certain levels, you have truly surpassed me.
But when you say that, I always say, no, we share that same information because the fact that I possess it.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I know, and that's why I hold these things that I hold true, because I have tangible things in front of me that show me we can do it. Neither one of us had to put each other on a God level. We did have to sit out and say, we share this information. We don't need to hide nothing.
I had to come and be vulnerable with you too and tell you this is.
And leading by example is why I say what we're doing and what people see and why we're evident and why I ask you to be on the show, even when it's not about guns is because you are the voice of a lot of people that I'm trying to attain and reach to. And for those people that will watch and listen who may fuck with what you say, there are people who are going to fuck with what I say. And there's people going to miss me and miss you. And we got to be able to be there.
Guaranteed.
And if we stop putting one individual as a person, because we forget that person can make mistakes. I make mistakes.
So are you telling me to go watch your Umar video?
You're right about that. I mean, this is a comment. You're right, Remy, about the Kevin Samuels, but the only videos that go viral are the videos that he women bash constantly.
Oh, and it's definitely. And I have a couple videos of him holding men accountable 100%.
I like how you say holding women accountable, and Miss Amethyst says women bashing. I've never watched the Kevin Samuels video. You'll hear me say that I don't watch a lot of these guys' videos. I definitely don't. Once it's the popular thing, Kevin Samuels, Umar Johnson, you know, when they talk about them like that, I stay away from that shit.
Here's the thing is, I
never
know what you're saying, but here's the thing is, he does women bash. He doesn't just give a clean accountability. He does do a Kevin when he talks shit about them.
And that's okay. So here, all right. So now, I never watched this video, but people tell me about what he's saying.
Hold on. So the point what I'm trying to say is that if you take the message and not the man, then you can get away from the bashing. But if you are looking at somebody like, how dare you hold me accountable, and you're this person, then you're missing the message. When I see brothers talk about how black men need to get together, I don't go, I'm a great father, my daughter does this. I go, when I walk out my house, I can point at 6 brothers he's talking about. And what am I doing to fix that in my community? So, like I tell, when Jonathan, let's use Jonathan as an example, first started talking to me. How you from New York and you don't know anything with guns? Don't y'all have the most guns and do the biggest in New York? Oh, but let me show you. And I didn't go, what the fuck you talking about? I go, you 100% right. Let me learn that. And then I walked around my community and talked to the brothers that I saw like that.
You know what? I guess that's a testimony to what it was I was saying. I don't watch the Umars and the Kevin Samuels and all that, right? And I remember watching the first time you put Jonathan up on that screen. Word of mother, I remember seeing that video and he looked so corny, yo. He looked so, no disrespect, my brother, word. Redstone Firearms, man. Only black-owned gun store in LA. That's serious, man. It's where you should go. They're going to teach you the things you need to know. But he was looking so corny on that screen. I remember he had.
But look how comfortable he is now.
He had this weird ass polo on or shirt.
Stop doing that. But you know how cool he looks now. When you see his videos now, Jonathan come in like,
yo,
this is and he's comfortable.
Yo, he's mad cool now. He even be having the tank top videos. Yo.
So to close this up, you get what we're saying.
My guy is that cool.
I
watched that because it was you. That's really what I'm trying to say. I was able to get by what I ignorantly would have stayed away from. You know what I'm saying? Because it was you. Because you were the conduit from the guy that I thought was corny to the guy, me, who I know is cool. And you're from the Bronx and you're my brother. And no matter what.
So basically what I think I hear you saying and what I want other people to catch is that we got to trust some of the information our friends are giving us and be willing to look into it. That's what I think I'm hearing.
And you also, like what I was saying before about being able to prove some of these things that you've given me. You know what I'm saying?
Leading by example.
You also got to give me that quality information.
Yeah.
And it was all quality when, you know, and I can only segue it gun-wise, when you took me to the black-owned gun store and you told me this is the treatment that you're going to get. And now being umpteen amount of
20
time.
guns later.
Yeah, you know, I'm really understanding that them things that y'all were telling me from the first time.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? It came full circle for me. It wouldn't have happened, honestly, had I not had that trust for you, and it wouldn't have happened had you not stepped outside of the box, because you gave me the chance to do that before, and I didn't take that chance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So 2 things I want people to get from that is, 1, if you truly want to help your people, you got to be consistent and stay on them and be leading by example. But 2, you got to be willing to listen to those people who are talking to you, because they're not crazy, they're not conspiracy theories, they're not trying to make you believe some. And we also have to learn how to communicate with each other. And a full round of this show, what are you doing tangible every day to be helpful in your community, helpful to your people, and helpful to your children? Prime example with me, I bought these kicks. He says they're not fly, but I love these shits. The African.
Now take one off, man. Let me see the Africas. All right, now, listen. I seen my man with these kicks on. I say, yo, you got you some new Africas. You know what I'm saying?
Got them from Naga.
Damn, man, I can't even. I gotta get me a pair now. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta get me a pair just to put in the closet because I'm never wearing. I'm never wearing these shoots. He had the Africas on. Now he said, "Yo, they fly, right?" And I was like, "No, they're not fly, but they are dope."
And it's gonna take him forever to try to explain the difference in that.
The difference between fly and dope. Fly has that fly appeal, that fly.
You can't use the word in the definition.
Hold on. That's what y'all are saying because look, I'm fly, but Remy's dope. Word to mother.
What? That does not explain.
What, you got your gun with you?
Yes, my gun's always with me.
Get your gun real fast. I'm
No,
about to prove this point. I'm about to prove this point. Get your gun.
Play my gun.
Yeah, get your gun, black man. Fly is fly. See, and we're segueing into the gun show because all of this.
No, we about to. That's one thing I want to say.
Word to
Next
mother.
week is all the gun show. We are not gonna have the time.
We're segueing into the gun show.
No, we can't.
Now
We
check
gotta
this
go.
out. Fly is fly. Dope is dope. All right. Fly. Okay. Now getting this slide locked down sucks. This is Remy's nice gun. This is not fly, but this is dope. You understand? This the M&P Shield, B. 40 cal at that. This is dope.
Here you go.
Now let's talk fly. World famous gun show, baby. Ooh. Yo. All guns proven to be, loaded right now. Okay. Now this is dope. You see the surefire light. You see you know what I'm saying? I can start right here. You thought I was right there, but I moved over there, shot you from the other way.
Shot you from the other way.
Yes, indeed.
So
This is fly.
next week is going to be just the world.
Yo, you
famous
see the
gun show.
Beretta.
So fly is flashy, dope has substance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the way you put that. Okay, I didn't think we were gonna get to a point to that, but we got there.
No, with dope, there's a necessity maybe to explain the substance. With fly, it encompasses everything. It encompasses it all.
He had to figure out how to make himself better with fly. Whatever.
No, listen to me though. Listen to me. You know this was in Lethal Weapon?
Yes.
All right.
My favorite gun because of that reason.
Okay. You know this was in Boondock Saints? You ever seen Boondock Saints?
I do know Boondock Saints, yes.
Ooh. You know this was in Die Hard?
I definitely know it was in Die Hard. John McClane, yes.
Okay. You know every disposable bad guy in a whack-ass movie shoots this gun too?
I have no idea where that. So before I close on this show,
because that's fly. Now let's just see dope. Let's just see dope. It's dope. I ain't never seen this shit in no movie though.
My shit's for home for safety. That's it. Is there a question? Comment? Okay, we're gonna get out of here. I thank y'all for tuning in. Again, remember what I'm saying is just being accountable of knowing what we are putting our kids into in the school system, thinking about the decisions you're making. There are tangible solutions to what's going on right now. And if you're watching the news, you're paying attention that a young lady just got bullied, lynched in her own backyard, Malika Miller. And I was going to show another video of another young lady who is Muslim, who gets beat up by a bunch of white girls and teachers didn't do nothing till she's winning. There's another, I can show you video proof of what I'm saying. I need you to think about your own child. Are you going to wait till they become a hashtag that I am posting about before you go in there and you become more tangible in their life? That's the real question. What are you going to do? If you can't do it yourself, who are you going to find? Who is your village? Because at this point, they are our future. And if we do not take a chance and trying to go be uncomfortable to make them feel comfortable, we are failing them as parents and as a community. That's my point. Do you want to say anything to these people?
Nah, well, yeah, I guess so. I would like my round back though.
That's not your round.
That is my round.
No, it's not. Do it to yourself. Do it to yourself. Look at the size of this. This is dope. You see how big this is?
On your left,
This is not. See the size difference?
Oh, biting me in the ass right now. The difference between dope
and fly. Y'all see that? Okay.
Now hold up. This is fly. 40 cal hollow point. Fly. 9mm hollow point. Yo, that's dope. Yo, you got the hollow? Yeah, I got the hollows, yo. But this is fly. You'll make a chain out of this 40 cal hollow.
We don't make chains out of bullets. That's not what we do. Anyway, we out of here, y'all. We thank y'all for tuning in. Next week will just be the gun show. He's bringing out every...
Hold up.
What are you...
This is fly.
What is that? What does the cursor say? Copy.
I just noticed that this is Casey.
Because he's a boss.
No, I just noticed the dreads in the hat, man.
No, but he's a boss.
No, guaranteed. But
guaranteed. And we want to make sure you understand. Oh, I don't want to do that. I was about to do it. I ain't going to do that.
See, this is fly right here.
Anyway, we out of here.
Right,
He's got to get on a plane, and I don't want to get... Can I say it? What? Never mind. I ain't going to say it.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I want to make sure we get out of here on time so I don't get Megan.
It's a new verb.
It's a new verb. We out of here.
New verb alert.
Play that outro.
People used to say you black, then watch your mouth. We ain't listen, now enough for the clout. Original man, all I'm watching is y'all. Crazy how addicted I used to be at the mall. Spending all this hard-earned dough but never bought. In the game of life was more of a curtain call. Smiling in your face, can't tell I was hurt at all. My little Asian love would go and run me the raw. Brought it to the crib and let me borrow the car. Gotta be fly, you gon' catch the people eye. Can't recognize the real when you always taught a lie. Can't remember a day when my mama wasn't hurting. Daddy wasn't brave and my niggas wasn't cursing. We was just some slaves in a maze with our burdens. Trying to find our way through this pain we immersed in. Raised by a gay shit, the sage wasn't working. Remember when they say we was 3/5 a person, but if we came first, how the fuck do that work? I know there's people never like to tell the truth cause it hurt.